Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be getting ready together. I don't know about you, but my brain is still suffering a little fog from that loss of sleep over daylight savings weekend. So as I was trying to come up with a real creative video idea for today, I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna do a get ready with me, pull out a bunch of products, and we'll just have fun putting some makeup on my face. Now, I have new and old favorite products. The new products, this is not first impression. I've been using them for a couple of weeks, but I don't really have an overall plan for this look per se. So we're just gonna have some fun creating a look together. If you're new here, be sure you hit that subscribe button. Now let's get started. Now my lips really need some hydration, so I am starting off with the Ilia Lip Wrap Reviving Balm. This stuff feels so good, and the tip on the applicator is nice and cooling. Kind of helps, you know, wake you up a little bit. For primer, I am going to try and finish up this little tube of the Smashbox 24-hour eyeshadow primer. This is one of my all-time favorites, and I will probably repurchase it again, but I'm going to apply this all over the lid from lash line all the way up to the brow. Now the eyeshadow palette I chose for today is one that I was shocked to find out I've actually never done a tutorial on, and it is the Too Faced Teddy Bear palette. I absolutely love this palette. It was in my year-end favorites. So I feel like this is a super versatile palette. I might do a 3-1-1 with it if you all want some more inspiration. But for today, I'm going to start off with a little bit of this shade on my Sigma E50 and just put a little bit of that under the brow. And then because I have a little bit of some Sunless Tanner on, I'm going to deepen that just slightly with a little bit of this color. Just going to real lightly tap into that shade. And you can see because I have yellow undertones to my skin, it doesn't come off too yellow. If you don't have yellow undertones to your skin, you could definitely go in with a little bit of this one to just darken that up a little bit. All right, for the crease, I'm going to start off, I think today I want to do a little bit, let's go a little bit pinky, but first I'm going to start first with this one, and then we might add that. So on the Morphe M504, I'm going to go in with this beautiful shade. You're probably going to be able to tell right off that I'm taking inspiration from my shirt that I'm wearing. This is a new sweatshirt I got when my best friend was here from Target, and it is just so cozy and soft and bright and cheery. So it made me think of spring, so I thought this was perfect for today. Isn't that just so pretty? And these shadows just, they seem to blend so easily. And I feel like you get a lot of color payoff. You don't need to scrub your brush in the pan to get the color. Let's go next with this shade right here. I do personally like to just go in kind of a gradation of color. I feel like it helps all of the blending go a little more seamlessly, but it also helps me be able to kind of tell if I want to do a lighter look. I can go, oh, let's stop there, or I can tell if I need to go a little darker, then I'll just go in with the next deepest shade. Sometimes if you go in with the dark shade first, you are committed to a very deep, dark look. And I don't always want to commit to that right at the beginning. Isn't that pretty? Oh, all right, let's go to our lid shade next, and then we'll decide how dark and deep we want to go after we apply liner. So I'm going to start with this shade right here, which has kind of more reddish tones versus this one, but we're probably going to bring that other one in too. But you can see it's red with gold, really pretty. And I'm just going to pat that on the lid, and you can see it. Of course, because we're mixing red and gold, we're getting this kind of fiery orangey color. Ooh, so fun. Now I'm going to tone that down just slightly and go in with this shade, which is a cool kind of pink color. And just going to alter the tone of that slightly. Now I can see that I want a little more distinction with the outer corner color. So I'm gonna first go though to the lash line, and I'm using today the Pixie Endless Silky Eye Pin in Matte Mulberry. So not your typical brown, but this is a berry brown shade. I love this color, especially with this palette. And I am not planning to wing this out much, just do a little tiny flick there. And then go towards the lash line. And then as I go towards the inner corner, I'm just gonna keep this really close to the lashes here. Now that liner does not need to be super precise because now we're gonna go on top of it with this shade right here. I'm using the BK Beauty 204 brush. And now just going right above that liner, right on top of and right above, and just flicking the brush to create a really nice, soft, diffused line and add a little bit of depth there in the outer corner and at the lash line. And then what I like to do is really raise my eyebrow and see if there is any gap between the liner and my lashes, and I see that there is. I'm just going to fill that in with the liner. Okay, and now a final little bit of blend here. I will use this shade. What I love about this palette is you have every gradation kind of tones. So you can use one for depth, the next one up for building or blending like I'm doing right now. And then it helps you be able to fade the colors up more easily. And this is the Morphe M506 brush. Okay, and a final blend, no extra product, with the Morphe M504. Now I'm gonna address the inner corner later, but let's go to the lower lash line, and you're gonna think this is strange, but I've been doing this and loving it. I'm gonna use the Urban Decay Mushroom Pencil. Yes, it is itty bitty, oh my goodness. I have been really enjoying putting this in the lower lash line, even when I have a really warm look going on up above the lashes. This just kind of adds a nice little bit of interest. It cools things down just slightly. It can also help, I know some people don't like to wear oranges or pinks or reds all around the eye. And so this is a way to just kind of keep your eyes from looking sick or irritated, doing something cooler on the lower lash line. So just placing this in the roots of the lashes, and then just going slightly below and work that in with my Morphe M432 brush. Just press that into the roots of the lashes. This is a super soft brush, so it doesn't irritate that delicate skin. That's really important if you're doing this step. Now let's clean up under the eyes. I'm using almond oil. I just transfer it to this beautiful Too Faced bottle, but this is Now Solutions almond oil, and I'm just using a Q-tip to clean up. And I really feel like overall, except for here in the outer corner where I get a little sloppy with my blending, I really don't feel like there is much fallout at all with these shadows. Now I'm just going to tap in the excess oil, because you definitely don't want to leave too much down there, but it's a wonderful preparation step for our concealer. Now today I'm going to throw you a curveball. I'm going to use a different color corrector I've been trying out. This is the one by Charlotte Tilbury, and this is shade 2 medium. And this has actually been quite nice. The jury's still out on it, but so far I have had some pretty good success with this. And the good thing is there is one shade lighter than this one. So if you're super fair skin, they have a lighter one, and they also have a couple shades deeper. Now, I will say, I don't know that this has quite the color correcting power that the NARS one does, but I do feel like this has a good amount of hydration. Your under eyes definitely will not get drier and drier as the day goes on. So if you have mature under eyes, you know that is a challenge. Now, before we actually apply concealer, I'm going to go next to foundation. And the new foundation I've been testing out for a couple weeks is the Clinique Even Better Clinical Serum Foundation. It has SPF 25, and this is the shade WN12. So right off the bat, I'll just say the shade, I always have a really hard time matching my shade in Clinique foundations. I feel like they run pretty dark. So this is 12. This is supposed to be very fair, and you'll see. I have to have sunless tanner on to work with it. That aside, I have really enjoyed this foundation. I mean, we're not going to leave it like that, but you can get full on coverage with this foundation. I personally love it without a primer. You know me, I feel like most foundations need to work well on their own. A primer should only enhance the performance. But so going on initially, you can see that looked pretty awful. But as it's been blended in, and I'm blending it now down my neck, you can see I'm trying to match this color. So as it's sinking into my skin, and I am shearing it out with this BK Beauty 101 brush, you can see it's just meshing well with my skin. Now, I was hesitant to try this because I always think of serum as being a super glowy type of product and sheer coverage. But my best friend has been loving this. She also loves the Bare Minerals Bare Pro foundation like I do. So I thought, all right, we have similar tastes. Let me give it a try. She has drier skin than I do, but I feel like this wears very well even on my combo skin. So there we go. We've got it mostly blended in, and I'm going to now just kind of press over those areas of pores, and it does set nicely within a pretty quick amount of time. Okay, I feel like that's pretty well blended. It's still a little bit tacky, so I'm going to let it sit a little bit before I powder. Next, we're going to go in with concealer, and I'm using the Clinique Even Better concealer, my favorite. Probably going to do a combination. I think I can do mostly WN04, but I have WN01 on hand just in case. So I'm going to, now I do wipe off the doe foot, and so I know it's going to look like I'm applying a lot, but I'm actually just spreading out a super thin amount across the skin here. And I'm going to bring this along the sides of the nose as well. And then a little bit over right here. Trying this little trick out I've seen done by some makeup artists. All right, I'm using the Angie Hot and Flashy, what is this? I should have it memorized, the A506 brush. I know they keep saying that this is eventually going to be offered as an individual brush, but for now, I think it's still just available in the set. Makes such quick work of concealer. Always feels so much better after we get that concealer on. Now I'm going to set that with a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. This is the shade 2, and I'm using a Real Techniques setting brush. Just tapping that underneath. Just the tiniest amount. We're not baking, not loading up a bunch of powder. That is definitely not a flattering look on me personally. Before I powder the rest of the face, I do have a couple of cream products I'm going to use. And first is the KVD Contour. And this is the Mod Con Gel Contour, I think. This is Fair Cool. And I'm just going to use this as my contour today. I do have a powder bronzer that's newer. I'm going to pull in, but I'm going to apply this just in sections. So this one, I feel like it does set pretty quickly. So you kind of want to work in sections, but it really is a pretty color, and the formulation is really nice. It's very long wearing, but you do have to be careful not to get a little out of control. Then I'll apply it a little bit along the hairline. And along the sides of the nose. We'll blend a little bit here under the jawline as well. And then I just felt in the mood for a little bit of Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is shade number 2. I think this works pretty well for me almost at any time of the year. It's obviously a little bright in the summertime, but I just love this product. Every time I use it, I'm reminded of how beautiful it looks on the skin. To powder the rest of the face, I've been testing out this Makeup Forever Ultra HD, and this is just the translucent shade, and wow, does this do some serious blurring. Now, the only thing I'm not a fan of is the packaging. It has that mesh packaging with the stopper, so it's nice. It doesn't get all messy, but it's kind of hard to get out the amount you want. Now, today, I'm going to apply it with a damp beauty sponge. My best friend has been applying it this way, and she says she loves it, so we're going to try that too. This is a great tip if you have drier skin or you don't like that look of powder sitting on your skin. You can use a damp beauty sponge with any powder, really, and it will just immediately take down that powdery look. Isn't that powder amazing? I mean, the pores, they just disappeared compared to here. You can still see them a little bit, gone. It's like magic. It really is. And I've used this, usually I use this with a powder puff, and that works well for me. You know, I don't mind a powdery matte look, but this definitely, it still blurs, but yeah, you can't see any visible powder. Wow. Every time I've used this powder, I am just amazed. Now, the newer bronzer that I have been using recently is by Clinique, and it is their Powder Pop Flower Bronzer. And there are flowers that are embossed, and they're actually, I mean, I've been using this quite often, and they can see there, they don't go away, but you know, that was the initial attraction. I'm like, flowers! And I've really been enjoying this as well. So I'm gonna use the BK Beauty 103, and this is the shade Solar Pop. So it looks pretty light, and it probably will be too light once I go into the summer, but it just gives the skin a really healthy glow. It does remind me a bit of the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, in the shade Bronzer. I would say those two, I haven't swatched them side by side, but I would say those two look pretty similar. on the skin, but isn't that just lovely? Really nice and healthy, just a little added color. And again, bronzer is applied where the sun would naturally kind of tan your face if you were getting a tan on your face. Kind of the tops of the cheeks. You can use it on the bridge of the nose. I usually don't go too much into this area during the winter time, but I just like the look of kind of a healthy sun-kissed glow without going overboard. Isn't that just so pretty? And it just looks seamless on the skin. There's no shimmer particles or anything. Great. Now, I have loved the Laura Geller Blush and Brightens for years, and recently there was a sale on her website, and long story short, I ended up with 2 more shades in that formula, and this one is the shade Starfish Island. I mean, you know, you can see I've been inspired by certain colors today. I'm gonna use the BK Beauty 104. These are just so nice. And this particular shade obviously has a lot of coral, but there's some pink, there's a little bit of gold, and these do have a subtle amount of glow, but no shimmer. They just make the cheeks look healthy and flushed. And the other shade I got is Apricot Berry, and it's gorgeous as well. I thought maybe I need to use that today, but the color scheme, it was a little too cool for this look today. So isn't that pretty? Oh, yeah, I've gotten a little carried away with my blush, but that's okay. I'll tap it down with with my sponge here. All right, let's add some highlighter. Another product from Laura Geller. Now, I've never tried this particular shade, but I had been hearing so many people talk about it. It is the Baked Original Highlighter Duo in French Poodle and French Almond. One of my good friends here on YouTube, Elise, talked about this, and she uses this on her eyes as well. So we're gonna use this as our inner corner highlight today. I'm gonna use the MAC 140 fan brush, and I'm gonna go into the light shade and a little tap into the dark shade. Now this is Whoa pigmented, so you really don't need a whole lot. Again, no shimmery, glittery particles, but it really packs a punch of glow for sure. And since we already have that Hollywood Flawless filter, we don't need a lot. So now I'm gonna go in though with this lighter shade and going to use this on the inner corner. Do you see how brightening that is? Wow. Okay, and then we'll take the E30 from Sigma, and I'm going to just lightly brush this onto the lid. Time for my favorite part. You've been watching, you know that's not true. Brows, yes. This is my least favorite part of the makeup routine, but I feel like it's the most essential. So these, I'm gonna use the NYX Precision Brow Pencil in Taupe. This has been one of my favorite combinations. I'm gonna use this along the top of the brow, kind of give myself a little bit of an arch here, fill in quickly, and then I will start here. This is the inner corner, or the inner part of my brow is where I really need a little extra help here. So just gonna fill this in. I'm gonna use the Merit Brow Pomade, and this is in the shade Blonde. I really have been enjoying this. I think in particular, the shade is the coolest blonde shade in a brow gel that I've actually ever tried. And I just think it really works well for me, especially with the color of my highlights and everything right now. Now it's time to add some mascara. I am first going to curl my lashes, and then I'm going to apply the Origins Underwear for Lashes Primer just to the upper lashes. Before that dries, I will add the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara on the upper lashes only. And then for the lower lashes, I'm going to go in with the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. and I have been enjoying this. It is actually pretty good. I love how thin this brush is. It really makes the lower lash application super easy. All right, so I just wiped off that lip balm and my lips feel nice and hydrated. Next, I'm going to apply the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot just around the edge. While that sets, I'm going to show you my lip combination. It's the Smashbox Be Legendary pencil. This is the shade Medium Neutral Rose. These are going to be on sale at the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale, so make sure you don't miss that. And then for my lip color today, I have a whole video coming about a bunch of new stuff from Revlon, but this is the Revlon Color Stay Matte Light Crayon. And I'm going to have to look up the color of this one because it's not notated on the actual packaging. So I'll put that on the screen, but that's the lip color I'm going to use. And then I'm going to pop on one of my favorite glosses. It's the Dose of Colors gloss in Jazzy. These are back. They just repackaged them, so they are available again. So happy about that. All right, let's go ahead and apply these. Now that lip combo, I actually really like all on its own, but let's add just that touch of gloss. All right, now here is our finished look. And overall, I love how all of those products, new and old, came together to create this kind of monochromatic, peachy, corally look that's perfect for early spring and summer, and of course coordinates well with my top. I knew when I put this on, there was a good chance we'd end up somewhere around here with this look, but I absolutely love it, and I hope that you do too. As always, all of the products I used today, as well as what I'm wearing on my fingernails and where you can find this top, will be listed and linked in the description box below this video. And in closing, I just want to say an extra special thank you to each and every one of you for being here, for supporting my channel, as my subscriber count is getting super close to that 100,000 mark. I'm just truthfully in shock and continually grateful. So thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.